Well, hello there, everybody. This is Heisman here, and this is not going to be a CSGO live commentary. Instead, this is going to be a normal commentary that I'm doing here. Basically, this is going to be a bit of a sort of tutorial slash tip video on how to get more kills in game modes like Team Deathmatch and whatnot. This is not going to be really on how to get more kills in comp, but I can give you some tips on how to do better in Team Deathmatch so that you can improve your chances of practice, because people in CSGO like to particularly use a Team Deathmatch as a practice zone for comp. In other words, they like to use Team Deathmatch as a preparation for competitive. So, and I tend to see some people get frustrated because, you know, they keep dying, they can't get a lot of kills and whatnot, because some people on CSGO like to get a lot of kills. And me personally, I thought I'd give you a few tips that I personally use to help get me more kills and reduce my chances of dying. So without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Now, the first thing you want to do is use the weapon that you're comfortable with, because if you were comfortable with a weapon, then you could do better, since then you'll be able to know how to use it more. Like me, I like to use when I play on the terrorists team, I mostly like to use the AK-47 because it is a damn good assault rifle and it's very powerful. I know that it has quite a lot of recoil, but if you basically know how to use it, then you should be able to do better with the AK-47. So, and also for long distance, if you like shoot somebody in the head with an AK, I think kills them in 1 or 2 shots. I can't exactly remember, but the AK is very powerful and deadly for long distances as well. So, you know, that's why I like to use the AK. And for my secondary, I use the Desert Eagle, because the Desert Eagle is also a very powerful pistol. It does have a high kick, but if you don't like freaking panic and start shooting it all over the place, if you just take your time with it and shoot it like how you're supposed to, then you'll do better. Because with the Deagle, it kills somebody, when you shoot somebody in the head with it, it kills them in exactly 1 shot. So that's why I like to use the Deagle. Now, for the CTs, I personally like to use the M4A1 Suppress. As you can see, I'm using it right here. That's the gun I'd recommend using, because the M4A1 Suppressed, it reduces your muzzle flash and doesn't really have a lot of recoil, unlike the AK-47. But the M4A1, it also has a suppressor on it, obviously, which is extra better, because then you can quietly take out enemies with it, and they won't know that you're on the map. I think, I don't know if you pop up on the map while you kill an enemy with the M4A1 suppressed, but it still reduces the muzzle flash, which is extra better, because then you can have a better view on your screen, and then you can see whether you're hitting the enemy or not, because the flashes sometimes cover up your screen and you can't tell if you really hit the enemy or not. So that's why I recommend using the M4A1 suppressed for the CTs, also the Deagle. And the first thing you want to do is always, when you get killed by an enemy, for example, if you see a blue X, that means that, and you see a red question mark there, that means that your teammates got killed and the enemy is still there. And me, what I personally recommend doing is retreating from that area. I would not recommend going in that area where the enemy is, because you could, or their teammates could all of a sudden pop up and kill you. So that's why I would not recommend going there. Plus, say that you get a kill, but there could be another enemy there, and before you have a chance to reload your gun, they take you out. So yeah, that's why I'd recommend retreating from there. Also, the second thing you want to do is never go into enemy areas by yourself, because if you do that, then you're just going to get destroyed by the enemies. Like me, I did that, and I'm going to tell you, I made a huge mistake in doing that, because every time I did that, I just ended up getting flat out destroyed. So I'd recommend going with friendlies into enemy areas. Basically, what I recommend doing is letting your teammate go first and see if the area is clear. And once the area is clear and there's no enemies, then that's where you could go. Another thing is that the crosshairs are a major factor in helping you do good, because you know that middle dot in the crosshairs. For example, if you see an enemy go to the left or the right, then follow that middle dot where the enemy goes, because if you do that, then you could be accurate with your shots like me, what I personally do is that when I shoot at enemies, I always make sure that the middle dot of my crosshair is always pointed at the enemy, because if it's pointed at the enemy, then the bullets are going to hit them, and then I would basically increase my chances of getting a kill right there. And that's why I recommend doing it. Also, if you're shooting at an enemy from a farther distance, then do not move at all. I recommend standing still, because if you move, then the bullets are gonna go somewhere else. They might not hit the enemy, and that's why I recommend standing still, because if you stand still, then you're basically going to be more accurate with your bullets. Then the bullet's going to hit the enemy if you can stand still, and if you can point your middle dot crosshair at the enemy. So that's what I recommend doing. And for medium distances, I'd recommend spraying, well, not spraying, but I recommend like tapping the mouse button very fast so that you could kill the enemy, because if you do that, then the enemy is gonna get killed more, and then you could basically do better with medium battles with an enemy. And for short distances, you can just spray your gun, but I'd still recommend standing still. This goes for long, short, and medium distances, because then you're basically just going to be more accurate with your gun. So that's why I'd recommend using or standing still with your gun when you're shooting at an enemy. And that's pretty much all I have to say. And even if you get killed in like one of the most ridiculous way, don't freaking try to go and get revenge on that enemy, because some people in this game tend to get very pissed off when they get killed in a very ridiculous way. I would not recommend doing that, because then you're just going to do a whole lot worse. Then you're going to start raging, and whenever you rage, you just end up doing a whole lot worse. I know, because whenever I rage, I just end up doing a lot worse. You just want to stay relaxed, because this is just a game. It's not, you know, real life. And basically, those are my my tips for CSGO. If you enjoyed these, please be sure to leave a comment. Tell me if these tips helped you or not. I'd love to hear your feedback. And I'll catch you later. Peace out.